Hey everyone, before we start this episode, I just wanted to clear something up really fast. During this episode, at one point, I talk about Ian and Myra picking up one of their victims at a liquor store. I refer to the liquor store as a packy, P-A-C-K-Y, because in New England, especially Boston, that is slang for package store, aka liquor store, and it comes from the Prohibition era. I promise you can ask any New Englander. That's what it means. I wasn't referring to a person, I was referring to a building. That is very clear in how I say it. But I wanted to clear that up because I know words mean different things in different parts of the world, and I would never want anyone to think that. But I think we can look at the context that I used it in and know that I was referring to a building, and that if you know us, you know that we are not at all racist. So I will never use that word again on the podcast because I don't want to confuse anybody. But just know that New Englanders use weird words like bubbler for water fountain and, package store or packy for liquor store. So I'm very sorry if anybody was a little jarred by that word because they didn't know that we use it for that building. But just listen again and you will see I'm referring to the building. I am not referring to a person. I just wanted to make sure that was clear because the last thing I would want to do was have our UK listeners think I'm a shitbag. So I promise you that's what it means. I'm born and raised in Boston, and that is just in my vernacular. So again, I will not use it on the pod because now that I know that it's very jarring for our UK listeners and beyond to hear, and that it's different than what it means here, I won't use it because why would I ever want to offend you guys? I just wanted to put that out there. So thanks for letting me know, and thanks for educating me on that, because it looks like none of us knew what the other person called it or what it referred to in different parts of the world. So I think we all learned something here, and I hope you enjoy the episode. And it's a terrible one, but we'll get through it together. Again, was not referring to a person. New England slang. I'll even post a link to some articles in the show notes just to make it very clear. So on to the horrific tale of Ian, Brady, and Myra Hindley, part 3.
Hey weirdos, I'm Ash.
And I'm Alaina.
And this is Morbid.
Very morbid.
This is the morbidest of all.
Guys, part 3 of the Moors murders is going to be the worst one, I think.
Because guess what? It's not even over at part 3. Alaina has an announcement.
Spoiler alert. There's going to be 4 parts to this because...
Were you going to say that at the end?
No, I was going to say it.
It's not even a spoiler.
Okay. Well, we're going to have 4 parts because... Let me say this first, just in case everybody's like, no, I'm not waiting for another part. I'm going to give you your closure at the end of this. We're going to get to the sentencing. So I'm not going to leave you at some crazy cliffhanger that you're like, now I have to wait 2 days to hear it. Your closure is coming, but so much happened after the sentencing and after they were put in prison. I feel I would be remiss not to do an entire episode on what happened after that.
That would be very remiss of you.
So think of the 4th episode as kind of like bonus information. It's not stuff that you're like, it's like, I'm not going to leave you on a cliffhanger so you feel like, that's screwed nice. At the end of this.
And the 4th episode will be coming out on Wednesday because that's our release schedule.
So Wednesday.
At the end of the day.
Wednesday it will come out, I promise.
On Wednesday. We release on Wednesday and Saturday.
Wednesday, Saturday. So it'll be there Wednesday. It's going to be, part 4 will be a little more like it's
lax.
It's not as heavy. We're not going to hear about any more murders. So it's like,
Are we really just going to hear about like Ian and Myra arguing with each other over the details?
Pretty much. And kind of like the crazy things that happen in prison with them. So that'll be more of like a whoa episode.
So that's cool.
You know those. Whoa.
Well, I think we should start off with like a little bit of lighter news before we really dive into the hellhole that we're about to be in.
Bring you up to crash you back down.
Exactly. If you don't have social media or, you're Ron Swanson and you're off the grid, it's okay.
We get it.
I'm going to tell you right now the exciting news that you may have missed.
Are you ready?
We have partnered with like a merch team, and we have new merch.
We have actual merch.
Like, it's so exciting. Don't worry, we're still working with Murder Apparel.
Yep, Murder Apparel is part of it.
To this whole new thing that we're doing, and
because we love them.
We could never let go of Murder Apparel.
We have a special place in our heart for Murder Apparel.
We're essentially family.
Yeah.
Remember our coffee date?
Yeah.
Oh, so fun.
It was wonderful.
Well, the new merch website, if you didn't see it on social media, is shop.morbidpodcast.com. Again, that's shop.morbidpodcast.com. There's hoodies, there's t-shirts, and we're working on like a ton more. So as we get new things, some things are going to filter out. We're going to give you ample time to see what's there right now and order some stuff, but just know that it's not going to be there forever. As we introduce new stuff, other stuff is going to get filtered out.
Yeah, and we'll constantly be adding new designs and new styles and new items, so we'll keep you updated on all that, but check back whenever you can, and it's fun.
It is fun. We're already working on new stuff now.
Yeah, we feel so excited that we actually have like real merch to get.
So exciting.
And that we don't have to send it out from our living room.
Yeah.
We have finally made it.
Can. Well, that's not even true. I have one more shipment to send out.
That's
and don't
true.
worry. There was like a little problem with the distributor, but I'm getting it sent out.
But now we don't have to do that, and that's great.
No.
But now that we've gotten that like exciting news out of the way, let's go womp womp womp.
Yay.
So when we last left you guys in part 2, we had heard about the murders of Pauline Reed, John Kilbride, and Keith Bennett.
And they were equally horrifying all across the board.
Yep, we heard how Ian and Myra have a very specific way of going about things. They plan it out to a T.
Myra fucks up the plan.
Myra fucks up the plan a lot, but somehow they keep getting away with it. And they kill, rape, and bury children on Saddleworth Moor. That's their thing. They do continue to do that, but this next murder of Lesley and Downey,
oh no,
10 years old, is the one that I began part 1 like mentioning, because it's the one that, first of all, deviates. It's the first one that deviates away from what they've been doing, because what they've been doing the first 3 times was they pick out a kid, they lure that kid in with the promise of something because they want them to help them find Myra's lost glove on the moors that means so much to her, and because kids are always wanting to help you, that's how they just preyed on that.
I was going to say preying on a weakness.
They continue to prey on weakness and prey on, the helpfulness and kindness and naivete of children, which is nice. But they now bring this child to Myra's home.
Oh.
So that is very different. Very risky, very out of the ordinary.
Very horrible, I'm assuming.
Now, it's important to say here that Ian and Myra don't live together. They stay together a lot. So they're essentially living together. Myra lives with her gran.
Oh, she does?
So this home that this happens in, her gran lives in this home.
So she's like, this is like very Jeffrey Dahmer-esque.
Yep, sure is. And Ian was also living with his mother and his stepfather.
His birth mom,
mother
right?
And his stepfather. So they're like 20-somethings living at home, bumming off their parents and murdering kids in their parents' house.
Yeah.
Like, that's the worst kind of 20-something-year-old you can have live in your house. There's a 20-something-year-old that's going to murder kids in it.
Did Gran ever, come out and say anything?
She heard things.
She did?
Yeah, we're going to hear that.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, poor Gran.
Oh.
Poor Gran.
Poor everyone.
We're also going to learn that the Hindley gals are kind of just fuck-ups altogether.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Maureen's,
Maureen's a fuck-up, too?
She's a fuck-up. I mean, she's not a murderer. Rape, and murder kids fuck-up, but she's a fuck-up.
Okay, let's go. I'm ready.
So let's do this. So we are going to start by introducing somebody who doesn't become a victim. Well, not a murdered victim of them, but she's important.
Okay.
So this is a girl named Patricia Hodges.
Hi, Patricia.
She's 12 years old.
Okay.
Her mother was Elsie Masterson, and they lived a couple of doors down from Myra's gran's place.
Okay.
So this was in like an apartment-y kind of building. So she often went over Ian and to Myra's house, where Ian and Myra often were. She would go over there. She'd hang out with them a lot. She would bring her toys over there. By all accounts, Ian and Myra didn't hurt her.
Interesting.
But then, maybe they did.
Okay.
So,
I'm so confused.
I know. They would take her to trips to the moors a lot. And they'd, like, go have picnics. They also gave her wine a lot.
And she was 12, you said?
Which I would argue is hurting, but, like, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, but then again, I'm from America, and I know, like, in Europe, that's very different, so... But, like, when it's them giving...
Yeah, I don't want
like,
anything that they're giving.
I think it's them giving kids wine that I'm like, yeah. But, yeah, they would give her wine a lot. So, Myra claims that there was nothing sexual, nothing inappropriate about their relationship. But, at a medico-legal society meeting in November of 1967, there's a weird comment that was said about this. They said... So, this is what one of the people that were part of this meeting said... Quote, they had shown some affection towards the little girl, Pat Hodges. They had also shown some of their sexual perversity towards her because she had been subject to assault in the presence of Myra. Now, there is no more information about that.
To me, that sounds like she saw Ian and Myra, like, they did something in front of her.
No, she was the subject of assault in the presence of Myra.
Oh, okay.
Meaning Ian assaulted her in the presence of
Myra. Okay.
And we will see this could... So at first, when you hear this, you're like, oh my God, what else? So nothing really came out of that. But then we bring back someone from a previous part that can shed a little light on this, maybe.
Whom?
Ronnie Sinclair.
The ex.
AKA Myra Hindley's ex-fiance that they were going to murder.
So
and then just didn't do it.
What did he say?
So Ronnie Sinclair was sitting in a pub one weekend around where they lived.
Yeah.
Ian comes walking into the pub and he doesn't know Ian. So Ian walks in.
Does Ian know him?
Ian knows him because remember, Ian had done the reconnaissance. He was going to murder him.
Oh,
he was following him to work. He knew his whole schedule.
Forgot about that.
But Ronnie doesn't know Ian. So he walks in, Ian sits next to him, starts chatting with him. Eventually, he brings up Myra, his girlfriend. And Ronnie's like, oh, shit, okay. Like,
that's my ex.
And just realizes, he's like, oh, awesome.
We were going to get married, LOL.
I think he's like, oh, you're that guy. Okay.
Yeah.
So then Ian starts bragging about his life of, like, breaking into homes and stealing shit and how he's so good at it and he makes so much money at it. And basically tried to get Ronnie in on a job with him. Was like, oh, do you want to be like a lookout? You can make some money.
No thanks.
And Ronnie was like, no, thank you. So then Ian breaks out this fucking photo and he's like, well, are you into this? Takes it out of his jacket.
Is it Patricia?
Shows him this photo and he's like, hey, do you like this kind of thing? It's a naked young girl, bound and gagged. Ronnie said he thought the girl looked to be about 13 and he was horrified. So he was like, nope, I don't like that. Like, no, thank you. That's not my thing. And Ian ignored that and said he took the photos himself. And he was like, the girl's fine. Like, she agreed to do it. And he said he had more like that. And Ronnie was like, no,
yeah,
like,
still
I'm good.
Not my thing, bro.
Like, just, nope,
shouldn't be anyone's thing.
And he also, so then Ian also asked him, do you know any girls who will pose for me?
No.
And he was like, what? And then he said, I prefer 16 to 20-year-olds, but, like, I'm really down for anything.
I love that he just, like, offered all of this up.
Well,
like,
and Ronnie's like, what the actual fuck? So Ronnie's like, good day, sir.
He's
and
like, I came here for a casual beer.
Well, now it's speculated that the girl in that photo may be Pat Hodges.
Oh my God.
And it's never been, like,
confirmed.
Solved. But that, to me, seems like something might have happened there.
Yeah.
There's no way that girl was hanging out with them and something bad didn't happen.
No, I just don't. They're too...
I mean, I hope to everything that it didn't, but it just doesn't seem that way.
They're not the kind of people that don't do something to a child.
Exactly. And later, Patricia testified. She said, we went up to the moors together about once or twice a week. They took wine up with them. They took wine with them nearly every time. So it sounds like they really liked wine.
I mean, same.
Like, well, and like I said, they drank a bottle a day together.
I mean, not same.
And you know what? It affected both of them later in life, so don't do that.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, they were real sick later in life.
A bottle of wine a day is a lot of wine.
And they were heavy smokers, like, they were killing people. So I think, like, I think just all of that was probably not great for
the skin,
you know,
for
later.
the complexion.
Yeah, no, it's not. So during, they did a reinvestigation of the case in 1987, like long after they had been caught. Mm-hmm. And Myra told an investigator, Peter Topping, he's the one who took like her famous confessions. He got a lot out of her, but he got a lot of bullshit out of her too. And everybody kind of looks at it to be like, oh, look what Myra said to him.
Because she is just a lot of bullshit.
Yeah. Well, she said to him that both she and Ian had like what she called an affectionate relationship with Pat.
Uh-huh.
Which is like,
I don't want an affectionate relationship with Myra
And she
Hindley.
said, no, absolutely not inappropriate, not sexual at all. And she said, but like when we would all go in the car, she sometimes would sit on Ian's knee.
Mm-hmm. And Ian didn't do anything
and
yucky?
I'm like, yeah, I don't love that.
Nope.
So that's just showing you a little bit about like, they didn't just kill weird. Kids. I'm pretty sure they were doing lots of other things and those kids were not being murdered.
Yeah.
So they were just all around shitbags.
Ew, this is making me feel so yucky.
So after we have that, because Patricia does come back during the trial, just like briefly, but I figured it was important to say. Now we're going to come to Boxing Day in the UK.
Is that the day after Christmas?
Yes, December 26th. This was 1964. The record that would be associated with Lesley and Downey's murder, because remember, they have to have a record for everything.
Yeah. Was
Girl Don't Come by Sandy Shaw.
Okay.
Now, Lesley was 10 years old when she was murdered. She was petite build. She was 4 foot 10 inches tall. She had curly brown hair and blue eyes.
Oh my god, she's like the cutest little nugget.
Beautiful. I mean, that picture of her smiling with those little chubby cheeks.
She looks like a baby doll.
It destroys me.
She looks like a Cabbage Patch.
It destroys me.
Yeah.
And I think I like tweeted about this last night because I had to step away from this particular case, like this.
You were
murder.
texting me. Alaina was literally like, I just want to let you know that tomorrow is going to be horrible.
Yeah, I was like, this is going to be really bad. Like, it's a bad. And I had done the rest of the case, like this part, and then I had left Leslie's moment for last because I just couldn't bring myself to get through it. I had read it a million times before, and it always bothered me. It's haunted me since I first read it.
But you didn't have kids at that point either.
My goodness. And now it's just way too much for me. It's so bad. But I'm going to give it to you guys because 1, her story should be told, and 2, it's my job. So I'm going to do it. So she was beautiful. We posted a photo. We'll post another one.
Yeah.
Her mother, Ann West, let me just tell you, this woman, she has since passed away, but
you're really gonna fuck me up, huh?
You just want to wrap your arms. I don't know how she survived, how she did. I really don't. So her mother, Ann West, said about Lesley, she always did as she was told. She came in from school at night, and she would go up, change out of uniform, make her bed, come down, and do her homework. She was perfect. She was absolutely perfect.
Oh my god, that like her saying that like hurts.
It's like, so when Lesley was abducted, the evening she was abducted, she was wearing a red tartan dress with lace trimmings.
Stop.
She was wearing a pink cardigan over it, red shoes, a blue coat, and she was wearing a string of white, a necklace with white beads on them.
Oh.
And her older brother, Terry, had given it to her the day before for Christmas.
Oh my god. Everybody, like, why does everything have to be so horrible?
I swear they, like, knew these things somehow. So what happened on Boxing Day was Lesley went to a fair with her neighbors. Her older brother, Terry, was supposed to go with her, but he became sick with the flu that day, and he couldn't go. Mm-hmm. So the next door neighbor, Mrs. Clark, was going to take her own children and said she would take Lesley and her little brother, Tommy, with her. Mm-hmm. And Mrs. Clark was like, oh, don't worry, Anne, like the mother. She was like, I'll watch them. Like, they're not going to go alone. Mm-hmm. That's why her mother allowed her to go without her present. Unfortunately, at the last second, Mrs. Clark decided not to go and sent the kids by themselves.
And didn't tell Anne that?
Nope.
That's not okay.
It wasn't long before, so they got to the fair. You know, they lasted for a little while. There's only so much to do when you have like so much money in your pocket. They all had like a couple of coins. So they ran out of money. They got kind of bored, and they were like, all right, let's go back home. And I think everything I read was like, they went back home for tea, which I was like, cute. I love the UK.
I do too.
I was like, that's amazing. But they wanted to go back. But Lesley was like, I really want to like hang out at the fair a little more and just like see everything, so I'll catch up with you.
No!
So they left and she stayed.
Never leave your friends alone.
I know. These were all like young kids.
I know.
But the last person to see Lesley alive, aside from her vicious murderers, Myra Hindley and Ian Brady, fuck both of them, was Bernard King, who was 11 at the time, and he was attending the fair.
Yeah.
He said he saw Myra Hindley wearing a dark wig, and he said she was holding Lesley's right hand and leading her willingly out of the fair.
Oh, that's haunting as fuck.
And he says that he was like, knowing what I know now, like he was like, I was 11, I had no idea what I was witnessing. And he said she wasn't kicking and screaming, she wasn't dragging her out of the fair. To me, it just looked like somebody walking.
He could have thought it was her mom.
Yeah, he was like, I didn't think anything of it until I saw later, and was like, holy shit, that's what I saw.
Horrible.
So what they did was they used another ruse to play on kids need to help adults.
What did they do?
They dropped boxes near Lesley, and then they were like, oh, can you help us? And she was like, oh yeah, I can help you bring them to your car.
Because she's the sweetest little being ever.
Exactly. So then I think that what they did was they asked her, you know, can you help us load them to our house and then we'll bring you home? And she was like, sure, I can help you do that.
Oh no.
Now Ian says he wasn't there for this whole ruse part, because he was like, that wasn't my thing. Like, Myra was the one to lure them in. I was the one to pick them up afterwards. Myra says that, so he says Lesley was already in the car when she came to pick him up.
Okay.
Like, she had done that part
by herself and they met up.
Now, she says that Ian was with her when they did the box thing. So who fucking knows with these two shit stains? Like, they're always trying to fuck each other over. They begin the whole thing trying to save each other, and then they go the total opposite and try to fuck each other over. So who knows? Either way, they got her out of the fair.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, willingly. Which is how... I think that's one of the things that's so bad about this case, is like all these kids were led, like, honestly, like Myra said herself, like lambs to the slaughter.
Yeah.
They had no idea what they were in for. They were children. How could they have possibly...
They just wanted to
conjured up what could happen to them.
That's the whole thing, is they just thought they were going to help and like go home after.
Yeah. So it's just so fucked up. So meanwhile, Lesley's mom, I had to include this because this just shows who she was, and this is going to hurt your heart. Lesley's mom had made a bunch of snowballs to throw at Lesley and Tommy when they got home. Like, she was excitedly like waiting for them. She said, quote, so we went in and tidied the sitting room and enjoyed the last hour of unspoiled happiness in our entire lives.
Oh my God, I just got chills.
Ugh, this one's so bad. So Lesley was brought... Okay, this is where it's going to get really bad.
Okay.
And I'm going to get through it.
I was like, can you do it?
But like, fuck. Okay. So Lesley was brought to Myra's grand's home, where her gran was visiting her Uncle Jimmy for the night.
She was gone.
And the 16 minutes of tape tells us what happens next.
16 minutes. Is this like an audio recording?
This is an audio recording. Okay. And they only recorded them trying to take pictures of her, undressing her and terrifying her for 16 minutes and before.
You said the actual audio has not been released.
It has not been released to my knowledge. Everything I've read says that it hasn't been released to the public.
Gotcha.
There was a point when Ann West did say she wanted to release a portion of it for a documentary, because she wanted to show everybody, like, look how vicious these monsters are.
Right.
And to tell her child's story, but they determined that it's too harrowing for the public to hear.
Wow.
Yeah. So, she is heard at the beginning of the tape screaming and crying. Mm-hmm. She's pleading with them to let her see her mummy.
Oh, yeah. You said that in the beginning. Like, that's fucked up.
She appeals to God at one point and pleads to God. She literally says, God, help me, please.
Oh, my God.
They're heard through the whole time. They're trying to force a handkerchief in her mouth. Ian is terrifying and cruel on this tape. He doesn't say a lot, but what he says is chilling. Myra says a lot of the stuff, but Ian is very terrifying.
Are you gonna say what they say?
So he's trying to force the gag into her mouth, and he keeps telling her to shut up. Both of them are telling her to shut up. She's crying and screaming the entire time. At one point, he tells her if she keeps struggling, he's going to cut her neck open.
Oh, my God.
She's a 10-year-old who's crying for her mother. Mm-hmm. Like, how...
I don't understand.
He's the depths the depths of depravity. He really is.
Well,
like, both of them are.
That's what they wanted out of this. That's the sick part.
This is what they
this
got
is
off
fun
on.
for that's fun.
Especially, I will say, especially Ian. Ian got off on cruelty to children.
Yeah.
That's just what he got off on. Myra, I think, just
got off seeing Ian get off to
exactly. That. So it's fucked up on a whole different level. So he tells her he's going to cut her neck if she doesn't stop struggling. Myra, who later pretended she was a member, was not as evil as Brady.
And didn't she say she wasn't even there at one point?
Oh, yeah, she comes out with all kinds of stories. She is heard being just as cruel and says at one point, as the child is screaming and crying for her mother, and at one point is like, please just let me say something. Please just let me say it. Like, she's trying to talk.
Fuck.
And she says, in your mouth, hush, hush, shut up, or I'll forget myself and hit you one. So Myra, fuck right off with that shit that you are being manipulated by Ian Brady. You are this cruel motherfucker who looked a 10-year-old in the face while shoving a fucking gag in her mouth and told her you were gonna fucking hit her.
Like, yeah, and you weren't there.
And you're gonna sit. Her supporters.
People supported her?
I want to start a group that's like punch a Myra Hindley supporter. Because honestly, if you supported this shit, fuck off.
She had supporters?
She had tons of supporters who thought that she was being railroaded and thought that she was manipulated by Ian Brady. And poor fucking Myra. She would never have done this without
That's
him.
mind-boggling.
It's unbelievable. And that she was being unfairly represented in the press. And it's like, we don't need the press. This is audio
listen
tape.
to the audio.
Like, are you kidding me?
Wow.
So at one point...
Even that alone, I, wanted to run out of here.
At one point, she tried to call them Mummy and Daddy. And I think it was possibly to appeal to some kind of humanity in them.
Yeah.
To be like... Because a normal adult would hear a child calling you Mummy or Daddy and would be like, fuck, what the hell is happening here?
Yeah.
But with them, it just fed their
like
evil.
A yucky thing.
The audio tape ends after they had bound and gagged her and stripped her naked.
Oh my god.
The songs Jolly Old St. Nicholas and the Little Drummer Boy can be heard
that.
playing. They then took...
This makes me want to... I'm nauseous.
I was honestly I had to step away from
this. I'm nauseous right now.
And I'm giving you a very generalized overview of what
I
happens.
really don't like kid cases.
No,
I don't want to do
either.
one for a long time.
I don't like this one. I really don't. But this case is so necessary to tell. They then took photos of Lesley naked in several positions in Myra's room. She was sexually assaulted, raped, and then she was murdered. There is debate about exactly how she was murdered because when she was found, it was difficult for them to tell. I will get into it in a minute. But, of course, as always, Myra, the bullshitting anal fissure that she is, she said that she was looking away the whole time because she was nervous that Leslie's screaming would be heard through the open fucking window.
Why was the window... what?
Well, that's a lie right off the bat because...
Yeah.
As Dr. Alan Keatley points out in his book, there's no way they would have left a fucking window open. There's no way. They planned everything down to
stupid.
A letter.
And
no
somebody would have
way.
heard her and been like, what the fuck's up?
And there's just no way he would have been that careless.
Well, I'm genuinely very nauseous right now.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna barf.
I'm glad we got through that part of it because that needed to get out of my fucking brain and I need to never look at this again. She's a lying sack of shit. Like we said, she can be heard throughout the entire audio, so fuck off. And I honestly hope that Myra Hindley is getting the same exact treatment that Lesley got in hell, or wherever the fuck she is right now. I hope it's a daily occurrence.
Yeah, same.
Because, this is such an infuriating case.
It's just disgusting.
I'm so angry.
This is just, disgusting.
It truly is. It truly, truly is.
I'm not kidding you. I would kill her myself.
Oh, yeah. I think about Ann West, and I mean, all these parents, but, Ann West, just, this is...
she probably... Did she have to go to, the trial?
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't know. I wouldn't be able to sit there without trying to murder her myself.
Don't worry,
with
because
my bare hands.
Ann's very vocal, and I just want to hug her each time. Whew. Well, then Myra said, so first she said she was looking out the window, and she didn't know what was happening. She didn't see her killed. She didn't see her raped. She didn't see any of it. La, 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 la. Then she says, oh, no, you know what? I was in the bathroom after the photos were taken, and I was running a warm bath for her. Oh, you were running a warm bath for her?
Before you killed her? How
Oh,
sweet.
really?
How nice of you to do before you brutally murdered her.
Really? Like, that's what you were doing? So she said she waited in there for a while. And then she came out and saw Lesley face down on the bed, dead. And she had clearly been raped.
Oh.
But she was like, I didn't hear anything. I didn't see anything.
Of course not.
Really? Like, you're in a small, like, apartment.
Yeah.
But you didn't hear anything? Like, okay. Cool. Now, on the stand later, when they got arrested, the attorney general basically told Myra with this story that she was full of shit. And he was like, even if you were looking out the fucking window, it's a tiny room.
Right. Like, you heard something.
Like, he's like, this is not like a concert hall. Like, you're in a room with her. Like, you knew exactly what was happening. Then they mentioned that they were like, you literally threatened to hit her on the tape.
We all heard it.
We heard you. Like, you weren't
And what did she say?
You weren't trying to calm her down or anything or not being a part of it. You were actively participating in terrorizing this 10-year-old. Like, you're sitting here pretending you're not? And she responded with, on the stand, quote, I wouldn't have hit her much.
Much.
I wouldn't have hit her much. Myra Hindley, ladies and gentlemen.
I wouldn't have hit her much.
I wouldn't have hit the terrified fucking 10-year-old that I abducted from a fairground
2 days after
Christmas. And was trying to gag her and strip her before brutally murdering her. I wouldn't have hit her much.
Only once or twice. What the fuck?
There's so many parts of this that I just...
Imagine an attorney, like, cross-examining her and just being like, I don't know how he didn't just walk out of the courtroom and be like, I quit. I'm done. I'm done.
For real. Like, there's no speaking to these two people.
I don't have words.
It's one of those situations where you're just
speechless,
blown apart. Mm-hmm. Like, it blows every part of you. So Ian says, of course, that Myra is lying through her fucking teeth. He says, yes, she was in the bathroom. She participated in everything. She helped me assault her. She held her down for me. And then she herself strangled her with a length of cord while I held Lesley down.
Oh.
So he does implicate himself as well. Like, he was like, he says we were equal parts of this.
Right. He's evil as fuck, but at least he's fucking upfront about it.
That's the thing. He's evil on a galactic level, but at least he's like, yep, like, I am.
I'm gross.
He then said that she would take the cord out in public later, like at pubs and anywhere, and like play with it because she liked knowing what it was and that other people didn't know what it was.
That reminds me of, I forget the lady's name, but the case where they were on vacation or something. Oh, yes. And she would wear the necklace with the blood on it.
And she just liked knowing that that was there.
Erica something.
Yep. And he also says, yes, there was a bath run. I had her run a bath, but he said it was very quick. It didn't take a long time. And we ran it so that we could wash Lesley's dead body in there and get all the fibers and dog hairs.
That's what I thought too.
Like, he's like, I'm not even going to pretend
and
to
washed
you, like,
away,
I was going to
physical
give
evidence.
her a bath. Like, he was like, I murdered her and then was going to wash her body so they couldn't connect her back to me.
Right.
Like, he's being honest. Like,
that's what I was going to say, that when you said the bath.
Yeah, he was like, because we had never killed in our own home before, so I figured we had to do much more here. So they then tried to bring Lesley to the moors to bury her, obviously, but the weather was bad. It was snowing like crazy. So they brought her back to Gran's house, and then they realized that they had to make sure Gran didn't come back because Myra was supposed to go get Gran and bring her back home
that night.
So Myra drove to her Uncle Jimmy's house and told her she couldn't bring she was like, I can't bring Gran home because the roads are really bad. And he was like, but you have to drive home anyway.
And you just drove here.
Like, you just drove here to tell me that, and you're driving home. Why can't you just put her in the car? Also, and she was like, can't do it. And
wouldn't you just, like, call and say that? Wouldn't that make a lot more sense, you moron?
Later, he was like, okay. Like, later, he was like, now I know.
Right.
But obviously, at the time, I was like, that's weird, and I don't know what to say.
Well, and sometimes when people are like that, you're like, I'm not even going to argue with
I'm just not even going to go into this. Meanwhile, poor Lesley's mother, Anne, and stepfather, Alan, are losing their minds with worry. They called the police around 10 p.m. They were knocking on doors and frantically searching outside for her in the bad weather. All the while, Lesley was lying naked, dead, and face down on their bed while they slept in another room.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they just threw her on the bed, face down.
And figured we'll take care of it tomorrow.
Let's go to sleep. We'll figure it out tomorrow.
That's beyond fucked.
So the next morning, Ian and Myra were able to get out to the moors because the roads had cleared. Ian ran out with the shovel to get the grave ready. It was near Pauline Reed's grave.
Oh, wow.
While Myra was waiting for with Leslie's body in the car, a police officer pulled up beside her. And he said, "Is everything okay? Is, like, everything cool with your car? Like, do you need a jump or anything?"
She's like, yeah, no, it's running well. There's just a dead body in here of a child.
She said something about needing to wait for her car to start properly, or she was letting, like, spark plugs dry out or something. She made some kind of
bullshit.
Yeah. And he was like, "Okay, cool." Just drove away.
Why does that always happen in, like, the most gruesome cases?
Can you imagine that cop later?
That's like Ed Kemper.
Yeah. Like, he got stopped with a head in the back seat.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I gotta go. I'm calling in sick for the rest of this. Okay, bye.
Yeah, you know?
Just
so Ian buried Lesley naked with her clothing on top of her and put the strand of white beads that Terry had given her on top of that. And she was so excited about that necklace. And it was like her older brother, and her poor older brother, Terry, like, feels such immense guilt for having the flu and not being able to go.
Nothing you did wrong.
Nothing he did. But he's like, if I was there, like, this wouldn't have happened. It's like, I can't.
No, you know who I'm mad at? And I feel like everybody has a right to be mad at it? The mom that let them go by themselves and
Mrs.
didn't
Clark.
tell Anne. Like,
what
I'm
the
sorry,
fuck, Mrs. Clark?
if you're in charge of somebody else's kid,
Yeah.
you need to tell the parent exactly what you're doing with their kid.
Exactly.
Like, if anybody gets mad at me for that, I don't care.
No, that's honestly.
She fucked up.
I think this is a universal truth. Like,
Yeah.
you don't fuck with other people's kids.
No, that's why my kids are never going to sleepovers or
No,
like anything
mine
with
either.
anybody else. I'll be like, your friends can come with us, but
Yeah.
that's it.
But you're not going anywhere.
No, sorry, bye.
So a couple weeks later, they took photos of themselves smiling together, standing next to Lesley and Downey's grave.
Wow.
Yep. Police dragged waterways and canals. The fair was completely torn down. Alan West was questioned, of course, because the dads are
stepfather.
always being questioned.
Especially a stepfather,
Yeah,
like I
of
said
course.
last time.
Yeah, and Leslie's family actually moved out of their home because they couldn't bear to be in it anymore.
Well, her
because it just
room-
had too much memories.
Right.
Now, apparently Anne, Leslie's mother, allowed one of the photos to be shown publicly for the first time in that documentary that I mentioned. I don't have the name of it. I don't even know if you can find it, but for part 4, I'll let you know if I can find the documentary.
Okay.
It's about the case. It's from 1999. She agreed to parts of the tape being aired, like I said earlier.
Yeah.
But they were like, the public
It's
can't
too
hear
much.
this. She agreed to all this because she wanted to show how evil these two were. And she wanted the world to know, this is what they did to my baby.
Yeah.
Like, don't let them out of jail. Don't have support for them. Don't have sympathy for them. This is what they did.
Right.
And she's right. So later, they found Myra's fingerprints on the photos taken of Lesley Ann because she had fucking looked at them after Ian developed them. So again, if she's going to pretend that she was there unwillingly and was just going along with what Ian was telling her to do, then why did you look through the photos later?
Right. Like, what did you get out of that?
Because you're just as fucked up as him.
Exactly.
It's insane. So she later said, quote,
I don't even want to know what she fucking
she
said.
later said about it when they asked her, like,
Why are your
because she
fingerprints
said
there?
many things like, I'm so ashamed, like, fuck right off. And she'd be like, I don't know what to say, blah, blah, blah. But then she said one final thing that was like a nice dig at her mother. She wrote, or she said, quote, "The girl shouldn't have been out at that time of night."
Are you kidding me?
So she shouldn't have been out at
So
that
that
time
makes
of
it
night
okay for you to do what you did?
because that, like, so it's her fault now?
Well, and if you feel that way, why wouldn't you offer her a ride home and bring her home then?
Like, this is why Myra flicks from, like, innocent to, like, depraved. Innocent to depraved in the public so much that that's why when she was going for parole, it was like, no. No. So Ian said about Myra when she was trying to get the parole later, quote, "She regarded periodic homicides as rituals of reciprocal innervation, marriage ceremonies, theoretically binding us even closer.
Yeah.
As the records show, before we met, my criminal activities had been primarily mercenary. Afterwards, a duality of motivation developed. Existential philosophy melded with the spirituality of death became predominant. We experimented with the concept of total possibility. Instead of the requisite Lady Macbeth, I got Miss Alaina."
Who's Miss Alaina?
Miss Alaina, sorry.
Oh.
And actually I wrote, who is Miss Alaina?
Who is Miss Alaina?
She was the empress who reigned next to the Emperor Claudius in ancient Rome.
Oh, Claudius was fucked
And
up.
she was known to be super promiscuous and also known to order Claudius to execute literally anyone that she just didn't like.
Oh, damn.
So he's saying, I thought I was getting Lady Macbeth and I got this lady.
10. I got more than I bargained
Yeah,
for.
which is like, he loved it.
I was going to say,
He
yeah,
loved
yeah,
it.
that was like his jam.
In a letter to Dr. Alan Keatley, Ian said that at this point, after they had killed Lesley and Downey,
Yeah.
they were bored.
What?
They killed 4 kids, and, now they wanted something new.
What do you want?
So he said, this is crazy. He said they discussed at length the psychological and logistical mechanics of creating a small race war.
What?
A la Charles Manson.
Yeah.
They did it before him.
Charles, yeah.
Yeah,
What?
they did it before him. Yep.
They were like helter skelter.
And then he said, however, we had no political or racial motive. What?
Just for the funsies of it?
He said, to us, it was simply an existential challenge, an end in itself. And then he said, we also discussed and researched the existential challenge of derailing an express train.
What?
So they were like, we got real bored with killing kids, we were over that. So we decided we could either start a race war or we could just derail a train and watch everybody die.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
Just,
what?
Wednesday things.
I keep shifting in my seat, and I'm sorry if you're hearing it. I'm just so
It's just
uncomf.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm so uncomfortable.
Now, during all this madness with Lesley and such, David Smith, who is married to Myra's sister Maureen at this point,
You said
they
he
had
was
just gotten married.
Yeah.
They now have a baby girl named Angela.
No, thank you.
And they were apparently in love with Angela. They were very happy as a family. David said he felt like his whole outlook on life had changed. He was very doting. He also said Ian and Myra didn't give a shit about their daughter. Myra never held her. Like, that's her only niece. Her sister's supposed to be her best friend.
Yeah, that's weird.
And it's her little sister.
That would literally be like me not wanting
Being like,
to
I'm
like
not
hang out with
holding
your kids.
kids. And actually, they were like, the way David put it was like, there was no like loving and doting like Uncle Ian and Auntie Myra. Like, they were just not into it at all. And she was an infant.
That's like unfathomable to me. Whenever you're pregnant, I literally lose my shit.
Well, that's a normal response to somebody you love having a baby.
Yeah.
But April 24th, 1965, and this is really sad, Maureen and David Smith's daughter died at 6 months old.
Oh, did she have SIDS?
She died of bronchitis.
Oh.
They were devastated.
Yeah.
And the two couples started hanging out more because I think Maureen was just looking for her sister's comfort.
Yeah.
She was like, I just need somebody. And it kind of organically just helped them numb the pain. Of course, they started bringing them to Saddleworth more.
Fucked up.
And many times they brought them to grave sites without them knowing, just to get kicks out of it.
That's not funny.
Yep. This is after their own baby had just died. They're bringing them to grave sites of children they've murdered.
Yeah.
Yep. So now they're hanging out with Ian and Ian and David would sit and drink and chat. And Ian kept trying to get David into like the robbery, housebreaking kind of thing.
And
He's always like, trying to recruit.
No.
Like, always be closing, Ian.
But I'm
He's
like, also, are you even doing that anymore?
Yeah, like just do it yourself. Like, why are you constantly trying to recruit everyone around you?
It's a lot.
He figured it was a good way for David to make money because David was struggling to get jobs. So he was like, yeah, you can make money with me. And David was like, maybe.
I'd rather do it the honorable way.
Like, sure. Actually, David was no Boy Scout
honorable man
himself, but he was not this bad. But it's not like he was like, no, sir. Like, he was just like, I don't know, I'm a little nervous about that.
Yeah.
So, but then Ian, according to David, asked him if he was capable of murder. Like, Ian all of a sudden just came out and was like, hey, yeah, so you should do some robberies with me. Like, it's super easy. You can just be like a lookout. Do you think you're capable of murder?
I also love that, David is his name?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm a little nervous about, like, breaking into these houses. And he's like, but what about murder? Like, you think you could do that?
We'll start small.
Yeah.
You want to murder a child?
Like, what?
That might be easier.
Yeah, than a robbery.
But you know what? To Ian, that's probably, like, the starting point. He's like, let's murder a child. That's very easy. And then we can move on to robbery.
Bananas.
It's insane.
And David was like...
Well, and he was like, and Ian was like, because I've done it.
Oh.
And he was like, what now? And he said, I've done it. I've killed 3 or 4. You don't really believe me, do you? Their bodies are buried on the moors. You and Maureen were sitting near one of them.
Oh my God.
Can you
imagine? That's so fucked up to do to someone. I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because I'm so uncomfortable.
Oh, there's going to be a lot of nervous laughter and like weird emotions happening here. And like everybody's just got to go with it. Because I'm sure you're listening right now being like, ah. Yeah. So we all get it. We're all in this together.
Like, oh yeah, you guys were sitting near one. Like, LOL.
You're just sitting there drinking with your brother-in-law and you're like,
no.
What now?
What the fuck?
Eventually, he did convince David Smith to commit a robbery with him. Okay. And he was like, and honestly, David probably agreed out of fear. Because he was like,
he's like, well, now I know that you murdered someone.
So Ian said a bunch of times that he was like, you know what? I was nervous that David was a little too scared to go through this. He was too much anxiety. He didn't have the nerve. And he was like, you know what? I got to test him. I got to make sure that he's going to be someone who's not going to run and bail at the like slightest scent of danger, you know?
Yeah.
So he said he was going to take him he was like, at first I thought I'd just take him to the moors with a victim that I grabbed, you know? And he said he was going to try to hand him a gun to shoot the kid. And if David wouldn't do it, he would ask for the gun back and then shoot them both in the head.
But like, why are you even involving David? Like, what is the point of that? I don't get it.
I think...
Is it to add to the excitement because they were bored of killing the children?
I think it was to add to the excitement, and I think it was also some weird thing where he felt... I feel like he got off on the fact that he was, like, kind of corrupting Myra's sister.
Okay.
Which was an important person in her life.
Because he liked her. Well, and
he also liked her. So I think it was, like, a mixture of just getting her involved in some way.
Okay.
I feel.
And just corrupting people in general, maybe.
Yeah.
It almost seems like he wanted to start a community of, like...
just fucked up people
like
doing
he
fucked
wanted
up things.
Yeah, do Charlie Manson, I guess.
Hello, we're the community of fucked up people doing fucked up things.
How can we help you?
Established, 1966.
How can we hurt you?
How can we hurt you? Ooh, woof.
Hate that.
So the robbery was in a few days, and David was acting more and more nervous about it.
Duh.
Every time they brought it up, he was like, yeah, totally, I totally understand the plan. This is exciting. So Ian was like, all right, we're going to test him because I think he'll crack, but I'm not going to do that Moors thing because I don't have a victim picked out, and it's a big thing.
Anybody would crack.
Yeah, anybody would crack for that. And so he told David that they could practice the robbery by, and I quote, rolling a queer.
What does that mean?
Which meant convincing a gay person to come back to the house by, like, acting that they wanted to have sex with them and then just robbing them.
Rolling a queer.
And at this time, in the 60s, it was illegal for, like, homosexual acts.
Yeah.
So they could rob a gay person by promising them sex acts or doing sex acts with them and then robbing them. And they knew they weren't going to get in trouble with it because that person wasn't going to go to the police.
Right.
Because they would get in trouble. Because... holy shit.
Because life is just one big fucked up medley.
It's just like a layer after layer of shit in this case. So October 6th, 1965.
Oh, man.
Edward Evans would be the last victim of Ian Brady and Myra Hindley. The record that they purchased and that they would think of for this one,
the last one,
was Bob Dylan's It's All Over Now, Baby Blue.
No, you don't ruin Bob Dylan for someone.
They did it.
No.
They sure did.
Okay, I'm glad it was that song, though, because I don't really like that song.
I'm glad. So Edward was 17 years old. He was one of 3 children to his parents, Edith and John. He was a good kid all around. He was an apprentice engineer, actually, at AEI Electrical Works on Trafford Park Estate. When he was murdered, he was wearing a white button-up shirt, jeans, brown dress shoes, and a nice suede jacket. Because he was going out that night.
Yeah.
That particular evening, he was going to be meeting his friend Michael, and they were going to go see Manchester United play Helsinki at Old Trafford Soccer Stadium.
I knew that Man United was going to play part in this, did I not?
That Man United. I love how you just were like, Man United.
Because my stepmom is like a huge Man United fan.
I love it. So yeah, he was going to meet his friend Michael. They were going to go see the game. All excited. Well, his friend bailed at the last second.
Damn it.
He was like out at a bar waiting for him, and he just didn't show up. So he was pissed. He was like, that sucks. I had like a whole night planned.
Yeah.
So Ian and Myra were out to get wine, and Ian walked out to get the wine, like in this basically like a packy. I don't know what they call it in the UK.
I don't either.
But
I'm excited to know.
Probably a liquor store. I'm probably like, it's something weird.
We're like, a packy.
A packy. And they saw, and so he sees Edward outside of it, and he was like, that's the guy. I'm going to get that guy. So he asked him if he wanted to come to his place and have some drinks. And Edward agreed. Because his night just got fucked up.
He was
like,
why the
sure,
fuck not?
Why not? So he asked him, you want to come back? He says, sure. And he said it. He was like, I acted like I wanted to have sex with him.
Well, and
like,
Ian was gay. Or, excuse me, bi.
And actually, most people think that he was actually, like, gay. He was not bi. But that he was just like
Myra does look like a dude.
She sure does.
So
it's very possible. But he said I made it very clear to him what I was looking for, and he was into it. So when they got in the car, he was like, "Oh, this is my sister," to Myra about Myra.
Yeah,
because he's like, I wanted to make it as, and again, a woman always makes people feel a little less threatened.
Yeah, and
all these kids, you see a woman, you're always told, be scared of scary men. Mm-hmm. You're not really told as a kid, be scared of scary women.
I'm going to tell my kids to be scared of everything.
Yeah, basically. So he says Myra's his sister. Myra drops them off at her Grand's house.
Mm-hmm. Where's Grand tonight?
And, Gran was home.
Oh, goody.
And Ian told her to get David Smith at Maureen's house. He was like, go get David Smith, or at their house because they're married.
Right.
And to wait a bit there before she returned with him.
Okay.
Now, allegedly, it appears Edward and Ian did have sex. This was while Myra was getting David Smith. Myra went to Maureen and David's and she used some excuse for why she was there that night. Like, she told her, like, oh, I had to tell you this. And
yeah.
And so then she was like, hey, David, can you walk me back home? Because the street lights are out and I'm nervous. So he agreed, and he took a walking stick with him. And this had a string attached to the end of it. I was trying to look up pictures of this kind of thing, and I couldn't really find anything that makes sense. But basically, it's like a walking stick, and it had a long length of string on the end of it.
For why?
It's important in a minute.
Okay.
Because at first I was like, what? But as soon as David and Myra show up, Brady led them into the living room where Edward was sitting on a couch. Ian walked up behind Edward with an axe that he had hidden and came down with it on his skull.
Just boom.
Out of nowhere. He said Edward turned at the last second to look at him and the blow went a little to the side. Otherwise, according to him, it only would have taken one hit.
Oh, okay, Ian.
But instead, it took 14. This is Ian's telling of what happened next.
Oh, wait, also, you're in Gran's living room and you're slaughtering somebody.
Oh, yeah. And Gran yells down at one point, like, hey, what's going on? And Myra's like, don't worry about it.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So
how did they clean that up? Sorry, go ahead.
We're getting there.
I'm sorry.
So Ian's telling of what happened. Evans screamed out as I rained down blows to his head. He was writhing on the floor to protect himself. Myra was in the room watching. The two dogs were excited and barking in the kitchen. Myra's grandmother had been woken up by the noise and shouted down to ask what was happening. Myra shouted something in reply, but I was too occupied to know what it was. Evans was still alive after I hit him about a dozen times. I went into the kitchen to fetch a length of electrical flex. I put a cushion over his head and strangled him by wrapping the wire around his neck. Evans stopped gurgling. Ew. It was suddenly quiet. The walls, floor, and carpets were splattered with blood. I handed the axe to Smith so that his fingerprints were on the handle. I lit a cigarette and muttered something about it being the messiest murder I had ever committed. Myra made a comment about the terror in Evan's eyes as he was being flayed.
No, she didn't. Of course she did not. I don't think she said anything.
No, she wasn't even in the room.
She wasn't even in England at that point.
Nope, she wasn't.
She was actually in Germany that day.
Yeah, she was totally gone.
So
she had taken an Uber and she was out of there. So yeah, this is just Ian murdering someone just for the hell of it.
Yeah.
There's literally no reason for this. Not that there's a reason for anything, but what? Like, you just hid an axe and just... What?
In somebody's grand's house.
That's the other thing. It's like, you who thinks of everything, you didn't think this one through to be like, well, that's going to be messy.
Right.
So then...
That's so bizarre to me.
It's very bizarre. And that's how you can tell that they were unraveling.
Right.
Like, there's always that point you can see where it was just... They weren't going to go for much longer. They were going to fuck up, and this is their fuck up. So then they took his wallet, his shoes, and the murder weapon into... I think they put him in a bag, and they put them in an upstairs bedroom somewhere. And then they spread a white sheet on the floor. They placed Edward's body on the sheet. He then took that string from David's walking stick because he's trying to tie David to this.
Yeah.
And he tied Edward with it into a fetal position.
Oh, God.
They then carried him upstairs to store in a spare bedroom to be disposed of the next morning.
You know Gran was lying there like, what the fuck is going on?
She's
Because she
probably
knew that her kid was evil, or her grandkid.
Why is my ugly as fucking sin gran bitch downstairs with that gaunt looking motherfucker and someone screaming, and now you got my other stupid granddaughter's stupid husband down there? Like, this poor old woman, she raised them.
Seriously.
She fucking raised them, and this is what they do to her? God damn.
Well, I need to know why Maureen's so fucked up, and I feel like we're approaching that.
It is actually. So, you know what? I'll give it to you now. It might come up in part 4. So because I said it now, I don't want to be like, ah.
Cliffhanger.
Basically, later, Maureen does end up having more kids, and she turns into a complete shitbag and neglects them and like malnourishes them, and they get taken away from her.
She malnourishes
Yeah, she
them?
like doesn't feed them. They're all under 6 years old. She has 3 of them. 3 boys under 6 years old. She leaves them alone in the house to go like party. Like, she's a shitbag just like Maureen is.
Fuck?
Or just like Myra is. Who gives a fuck? They're both bitches.
Where was David? Do I find out later?
You will. Okay. Yeah, you'll find out. Where was David?
Where?
So David factors into a lot of this.
Ew, David.
Ew, David. So then they got to cleaning. Because, of course, now there's a big mess to clean up.
Like on the ceiling. Like, how do you clean the ceiling?
So Ian said, it took the 3 of us almost 3 hours to clean up the blood in the living room, using buckets of soapy water and rags. The carpets were the most troublesome. I found it incomprehensible that the police couldn't find traces of blood on the carpets. This incompetence led them to assume that I had taken up the carpets before Evans arrived in preparation for the slaughter. Even Smith said that the carpets were down all the time. So, yeah, apparently they couldn't find any blood, but I don't think forensics was really at its height
in the
60s in the UK. But so they sat around after they had cleaned everything up. All 3 of them drank together, smoked some cigs together, and they discussed plans for disposal. Because now what are we going to do?
Yeah.
They agreed that they would use David's recently dead infant daughter's baby carriage to transport Edward's body because it wouldn't arouse suspicion.
What?
And he agreed to this.
What?
They wrote the plan down. I repeat, they wrote the plan down.
Well, he's a Capricorn. Of course they did. I'm not shocked.
And then they put it in Ian's wallet.
I believe, yeah.
Like, you wrote the plan down. Like, that's the stupidest shit I've ever heard, though.
But I believe that.
I know, I do too, but like, fuck. So around 3 or 4 a.m., David is like a fucking wreck. And he's trying to hold it together in front of them and act like it's like
the
totally
adrenaline
fine.
is slowly wearing off.
Well, and he just did not want any part of this to begin with. He got like bamboozled into this.
Yeah.
They just tricked him into being a witness of this murder.
Yeah.
And he's like, and so he's trying to act like, yeah, this was fun. Can't wait to do it again. Like, yippee. And so around 3 or 4 a.m., he's like, you know what? I'm going to go back to Maureen, if that's cool.
Can I go now?
I'm going to go get some sleep so I can help you guys out with this, like, fun disposal plan tomorrow.
Whoop,
like,
whoop!
Woo! Can't wait for that. And he said he was absolutely terrified. And he thought he was like, I thought they weren't going to let me leave.
He
I
probably thought
was
he
like,
was next.
Yeah. And he said he walked away, just walked down the street after they were like, okay, they let him go. And he walked until they couldn't see him anymore, and then he broke into a sprint and sprinted all the way home.
I believe that.
He immediately told Maureen, and she said he was like dry heaving and vomiting. He was so upset.
Oh, God.
They immediately called the police.
Yeah.
And October 7th, 1965 at 6:07 a.m., Constable Keith Edwards answered the phone call where David told them, "Hi, my name is David Smith. There's been a murder."
Uh-huh.
David Smith is the one who brought down Myra Hindley and Ian Brady.
Wow.
They bamboozled him into witnessing a murder, and he immediately went home and was like, well, we're going to call the police now.
It makes me so sad that Maureen turned out to be such a shitbag, because they could have been heroes.
I know.
We could be heroes.
But they weren't. Yes,
just
David
for
Bowie.
one day.
Yes. And actually, they were never treated as heroes because everyone thought David had more to do with this than he was letting on.
What do you think?
I don't think he did.
Okay.
The investigators don't either.
Okay.
Was he like a great person? No. But did he have anything to do with any of the murders?
No.
I don't believe that at all.
I wonder why people thought that.
I think it's just because
Just fun to gossip.
And Ian and Myra lie and say that he was part of things. So there's people.
Yeah,
that just,
let's trust those guys.
They've been such a beacon of honesty so far. So when the police arrived, David told them the entire story. He included, that Ian has told me he's killed before 3 or 4 times. He said this body's buried on the moors. He's got guns in the house. Like, he gave them all of it. He was like, here is all the shit you need.
Right.
Please
protect
help
me.
me. And the police said he was genuinely terrified.
Yeah, of course he was. He thought he was next, I bet.
In fact, they said when they pulled up in the police car, he dove into the police car because he was like, I'm afraid they're around. Like, I'm terrified.
Probably were.
Now, Superintendent Bob Talbot dispatched 24 uniformed and 6 plainclothed policemen to block the surrounding roads around Myra's grand's house.
Good.
And the rest went to Ian and Myra's doorstep.
Okay.
Now, no one was out of the house by 8:30 a.m. when they were all waiting.
Yeah.
Because Ian was planning to call in sick at work, and Myra was going into work to not arouse suspicion.
Right.
Because he was like, we can't fuck up our routine. You have to go to work. The only reason he wasn't going to work was because he hurt his ankle the night before.
Oh my God.
And like a little bitch, he was like, my ankle hurts.
One time I worked an entire shift with a sprained ankle in heels.
Not Ian Brady.
And my manager was like, you can go home now.
Not Ian Brady. So Myra was on her way out. She wasn't going to be leaving until around close to 9 a.m. So they were just kind of waiting for someone to open the door.
Yeah.
So Talbot, the superintendent, he sees a bread delivery man and he asks him if he can borrow his uniform and a tray of bread. And he goes up to the door and just knocks on the door as a bread delivery man.
Wait, who does?
The police officer, the police superintendent walked up to the door to be like, yeah,
here's your bread. Also, you're arrested.
So he went up there, he knocks on the door, and Myra opens the door. Because if they walked up and just knocked on the door, those two were going to fucking go out in a blaze of glory. You know that.
Oh, 100%.
But if he's walking up as a bread delivery man, the door's going to open.
Myra loves fucking carbs.
Exactly. Who doesn't, really? So Myra answers the door, and in the way he describes it, it just made me laugh because he was like, she looked about 35. She was 23.
I told you she's a rough 22 sister, and now she's 23.
I just love that little dig. Like,
she looked old.
She looked more than a decade older than what she actually was.
She did. When you told me she was 22 in like the last part of the part before, I was like, excusez-moi?
I don't think she ever looked 22.
I think she came out of the womb looking 35.
35 is generous.
I was going to say, 35 is like young.
I'm 34. So at 35, I'm like, that's very nice of you
also
to say.
look 18
but
and
still,
a quarter.
She looks a rough, like, 50. She really does. And a rough 50. I'm not saying 50 looks
like
bad.
40 something.
Yeah, in a rough 40 cents. She's
like
not
a
looking
drugged
normal.
out 40.
Yeah, it's no good. So she just answers the door and he's like, hey there, I have some bread. And she's like, that's weird, we don't need bread. And he's like, cool, I'm just gonna come in your house because I'm a police officer. Like, he was like, thanks for opening the door, honey. So he's like, hey, where's your husband? And she was like, I don't have a husband. And he was like, where's the man that lives in this house? And she was like, there's no man in this house. And he was like, and he just looks behind her and he's like, what's that man sitting on the couch in there? And she was like,
was that Ian?
And it was just Ian sitting on the fucking couch in the living room.
And she's like, there's no man here.
There's no man here.
He's like, I have eyes, ma'am.
He was like, there, he's right there.
What about that one?
Well, so they just walk in. They're like, yeah, so we know that you did this. So they walk in. Ian is sitting on the couch, like wearing
sharding.
Barely anything. Sharding?
Because he's like scared, I bet. Like sharding his pants. Either your face sharding. I
was like, what? Where did that come
I'm like,
from?
Is he sharding his pants?
No, he was not.
Oh.
He was writing a letter to his boss to excuse him for work that day because his ankle hurt.
Okay.
And he did not stop writing that letter as the police walked into the house.
Okay.
He finished writing the letter, Don't know why, because he didn't need it. But okay. So he's sitting on the couch, and they were like, all right, we're going upstairs. We're checking these rooms. They go to open one of the bedroom doors, and it's locked. So they're like, open this up. And she says, the keys are at the office. And it's, I'm not going to go to the office and get you those keys.
Uh-huh. And they're like, no, they're not.
And they're like, what now? And Ian, without even looking up, said, you'd better give him the key. A fight got out of hand last night. It's upstairs.
No.
So he's literally like, yeah, there was a fight. It's upstairs. And they were like, what now? So they did get into the room, and they found Edward's body.
Is this what reminded you of the Twilight murders? Is this why you thought of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It made me think of it. Now, Ian and Myra had planned to go down shooting.
Yeah.
If they were ever caught, they had a very well-worked plan that they were going to grab a gun, and they were just going to start shooting police officers.
Cool.
That was what they were going to do. Normally, he had his revolver under his bed and under the pillow bed that they slept on.
Yeah.
So he was sitting on the bed. He bent down to tie his shoes because they told him, get dressed. Like, you sickly looking motherfucker, get dressed. We don't want to look at your, like, gangly naked ass.
He is gangly.
So he starts putting on his outfit, and he's tying his shoes.
His three-piece
and he
suit.
reaches back to grab the revolver.
Uh-huh.
Well, he realized that last night when he and David Smith were bringing Edward's dead body into the upstairs bedroom, he was wearing a shoulder holster with a gun with his revolver in it.
Oh.
It was bothering him and making it hard for him to maneuver, so he took it off and threw it in another bedroom.
Oh, damn. How many fucking bedrooms are in this apartment?
The revolver that I think he threw it in the bedroom that he put Edward in.
Okay, yeah.
But he was, so
you're like, normally not that many.
It would be under the bed and he could just reach and go. But
not
that
today,
one
Satan.
little thing, and he swore till the very end, if I had just put it under the bed, I wouldn't be here. But here I am.
I kind of believe that.
And I kind of believe it. But and those police officers are lucky, man, because that would have been bad.
That's a literal not today, Satan.
And their plan together was to kill anyone who tried to take them out. And then if it got too crazy and they couldn't do that, they had a murder-suicide pact.
Right.
He was going to shoot her in the head and then blow his brains out.
But he couldn't.
But he couldn't do it. So when they searched the rest of the home, they found the plans that they had written for disposing of Edward. They found books on sexual perversion, and they found notebooks of Ian's where he had written the name John Kilbride.
Oh, shit.
And immediately they're like, oh, fuck. Like what?
What have we here?
Because they're just looking at, they had
One
no
murder.
idea that John Kilbride was going to be involved in this. They were like, wait, what?
Or any of the other
So
three
now they're
children.
like, holy shit, now we have to really look through this. So they were both brought in. Ian was charged with Edward Evans's murder. Myra was released after questioning because they didn't have anything on her. Mm-hmm. And she stayed with her mother for 4 days. Those were her last 4 days of freedom.
Oh, good.
And in those days, she destroyed evidence.
Damn it.
Of course, she said that she had burned a ton of envelopes without looking to see what they were. She didn't know what they were. But Ian was like, no, she knew what they were.
Well,
she burned.
Why else would you burn them, you dumb
twat? She burned them. She knows what was in them. And then he said, actually, some of the stuff in those envelopes would have helped you locate Keith Bennett's body. Oh, no. And they never located Keith Bennett's body.
That might not even be true. He might just be saying that to be a dickhead.
He probably was. The luggage ticket that would lead to the pieces of luggage that he had left at the railway station, those luggage that he would put all the fucked up shit in.
Yeah.
That Myra was like, I never saw what was in those. No, you did.
Meanwhile, you probably took half the shit that was in
exactly.
those.
The ticket, so it's the luggage ticket that you would need to go get those luggage things, was shoved into that prayer book that she was given on her first communion there in part 1 when she converted to a new religion.
Yes.
Remember I said that prayer book, that white prayer book was going to come back? They had put the fucking luggage ticket, which the luggages were the things that contain the Lesley and Downey tapes and photos, were in her fucking prayer book.
That's bananas.
And then later, she's going to try that religious shit again when she put the fucking ticket that has naked 10-year-old girl photos in the thing that's connected to it in her fucking prayer book. So that whole religious shit that she pulled later, I'm like,
you weren't religious.
You're
the most sacrilegious motherfucker.
You're the most blaspheming, evil human on planet Earth. Are you kidding me?
I am getting so hyped.
It's insane. So she couldn't get that prayer book back because police officers were guarding her grand's home because it was still a crime scene. so she couldn't go in there and get the prayer book.
Right.
But she was
that was
hoping.
one thing she couldn't get rid of.
Well, and she was hoping they just wouldn't look in it. But she had displayed it.
Oh my God.
Because she liked being like,
She's
look
like,
at how
I am-
religious I am.
I am one with the gods.
But knowing that she had this fucking terrible thing in it.
Right.
So
Because it was like how
totally
they would put
backfired
those
on her.
pictures and like.
Exactly. In the album to
Right.
fuck with people.
Right.
Well, they found it in
And
the
they were
book
like,
eventually.
what have we here?
They go
Again.
to the luggage, and they got the luggage, open it up. They found the photos of Lesley and Downey and the tape and all they needed.
Oh my God.
3 p.m. Monday, October 11th, Myra Hindley was charged with Edward's murder.
Oh.
And she was brought back in. So
Okay.
4 days later. While they were doing interviews, the police learned about Patricia Hodges, the
Yes,
12-year-old
yes.
that lived a couple of doors down from her. And they learned that she went to the moors a ton with them. And they were like, holy shit, can you please walk us to where they used to
paths.
bring you?
Right.
Because it might be where these kids are buried.
Right.
Because they love to do that shit. So Saturday, October 16th, police went walking and they pointed out a few things. And they started looking through the photos that were like in this bag, because some of the photos also were the photos they took of them at the moors.
Right.
They went with what Patricia Hodges was showing them, which they always went to certain spots. So
Right.
it's like very over and over. Well, on this October 16th day, they discovered Lesley and Downey's body
Oh my goodness.
using all of those different methods. Her mother, Anne, had to identify her body. She had to look at 2 photos that Ian had took of her and had to listen to a minute of tape to identify all of it. Alan West, her stepfather, said that he would have done it, but he wasn't blood relation and they wouldn't let him.
Oh my God.
But he said it always bothered him that he didn't get to shoulder that burden instead of... Because he said, I would have taken all that burden from her. I never would have wanted her to
Well, and
have that.
realistically, he probably was like her father. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you know what I mean?
Oh, he said... He was like, he said, I would have taken that like a bullet for Anne.
Right.
Which just like...
You wish that they would have just let him. Like, you just
like,
bend
just,
the rules
yeah,
a little
just
bit.
let him do it, man. Like,
Have you heard the fucking tape?
for real. It's just... So after being charged with Edwards' murder, Ian was brought into an interview room alone.
Mm-hmm.
And this was after they found the luggage. This is after they've now discovered Lesley Ann's
Ann.
body. He doesn't know this.
Oh my God.
So Detective Chief and Superintendent Arthur Benfield and Superintendent Rob Tyrell. It's either Tyrrell or Tyrell.
I like Tyrell because Game of Thrones.
Tyrell is fun. We'll go with it. They came in and they just stand there for a second and just look at him.
Hey, bud.
And he's just like, whatever, because he's so
Ian
cool
doesn't give
and
a
so
fuck.
above everybody. They come in and they just toss Leslie's socks, shoes, clothing, and the necklace on the table in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
And they informed him that they found these buried on the moors. And they were like, you know what else we found? We found these on top of her body. And they said, you know what's weird? We also found photos of her in your luggage at the railway station when we took that ticket out of that prayer book, which you left out for everybody.
Did he shart then?
He didn't. So they said, they said, do you want to say anything? And he said, not at present.
You're kidding.
Yeah. So they said, okay, cool. We just want you to listen really quick to this tape we found too.
But he probably enjoyed that.
So they go to tap it and he goes, I know the tape.
Yeah, because I made
Because
it.
he was like, I don't give a shit. And he listened, they said he listened with his head in his hands. Like he wouldn't look at them.
That's interesting.
And then he said, okay, I took the photos of her and that's me on that tape.
Yeah.
And he said, but when she left my house, she left alive.
Why would he even say that?
And they were like, wait, what? And he said, she was brought to me by 2 men, David Smith and another man.
Ah.
And I took the photos of her. That's what we agreed. I wanted the photos. I'd like, sure,
That's
charge
my
me with
deal.
that. I sent her on her way and they took her and that was the last I've seen her. So now he's saying David Smith killed her.
Uh-huh.
So they were like, okay. So they do the same technique with Myra. They throw the clothes in front of her. They do the whole thing.
Because they're not going to have the same story.
They start playing the audio tape and she just says, I have nothing to say. And they were like, do you what?
They're like, no, you're going to say something.
And she said, I'm ashamed. That's all she could say. So then they do the same thing to David Smith because now he's been implicated. So now they're going to do
poor
it.
guy had to hear that.
David Smith started sobbing when he heard the tape because
yeah.
he hasn't heard this. Like this, he was not present for that.
Right.
So he starts sobbing. So they're like, yeah, that's quite a reaction. I believe that's probably genuine.
Right.
So then October 21st, 1965, both Myra and Ian were officially charged with Lesley and Downey's murder now.
Good.
So after Lesley, they'd started looking further into these photos that they found in the photo albums and in the luggage. And these are the ones of them posing on the moors, because now they found Lesley through them. So now they're like, this is real. These are grave markers. So they realized, you know what, we got to really take these seriously. So Detective Joe Munsey, who had a very special interest in the case of John Kilbride, like he was very focused on that case. He wanted so badly to solve it. He had done a recreation of the case, like of his last day, just to try to find something. And his brother, I think his brother Terry, was the one that volunteered to play John in that recreation. And they went like hard to try to find this. So,
and John is the body that they've never found?
No, Keith is the one they've never found. They did find John.
Okay.
So Detective Joe Munsey, he had the special interest in John Kilbride. He was walking out there with Inspector Chaddock and crime scene photographer Mike Masheter, I believe. So they took the crime scene photographer Mike Masheter out there because they wanted to use the photo that they had, that they could like put it up and see where this site was, which the moors are like 400 miles, like, you know, like it's vast.
That's crazy that they were able to identify it.
It's insane. So they ended up, because they stumbled upon a place that looked just like the photo.
Yeah.
And then they had Mike take a photo so they could compare the two photos so they could really make sure.
Is it really the place?
And so they stumbled upon this place and they look and they're like, this is the one of Myra holding Puppet, the dog. And it's the one where she's looking at the ground underneath her. Like she's crouched on top of it. Now they were like, this is it. This is exactly it. So Inspector Chaddock takes a stick and he just pushes it into the soft ground there and he pulls it back out. And he holds it up, and the smell of decomposition is on the end of this stick.
Oh, no.
It was John Kilbride's grave.
Mm-hmm.
The investigators brought his shoe to his home for his parents to identify first, and his brother Terry later said, quote, "It broke my mom's heart, and my dad just sat in the chair with his head between his knees."
Oh, my God. I can't imagine.
Yeah. His mother, Sheila, was the one who made dinner for him every night.
And bought him the presents for his birthday.
Yep. She had to go identify him at the morgue that day. And she said she could tell by the football buttons she had sewn onto his jacket that was him.
God.
Because he was very decomposed.
It had been over a year.
And he had also been in a grave that had water running through it.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So when questioned about the photos of her crouching and happily gazing onto the grave of John Kilbride, which they were able to determine that the date of that photo was after he was buried there.
Yeah.
They were able to tell that. So they questioned Myra about that, and she denied it. No, I didn't know that he was there.
We have a picture.
And she was like, yeah, weird. I had no idea he was there.
Okay.
And they're like, oh, okay.
I would stab her with the football buttons.
Well, so what... This is pretty amazing, I think. So what Detective Joe Munsey did, because he was getting sick of her shit.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, that's cool. I'm going to so he put together a random little album with just random photos of her and Ian and just like normal photos. And then he interspersed photos of Lesley and John's decomposed corpses variously like through this.
Good.
So he's flicking through it for her and she has no idea when another one is going to come.
Just like what they did to people.
Exactly. So she turned away when she saw them and said, I don't want to see anymore. But he was like, oh, okay, asshole. And he was like, okay, nope, I'm going to push this even further into your face. So he put it even closer to her and he was like, oh no, honey.
Look right at what you did.
So eventually she screams, take them away. I'm not looking at them.
I would hit her over the head with them.
Like, not only are you going to look at these because I don't even give a quarter of a fuck about your sudden delicate constitution that you have suddenly grown.
Right.
That you somehow have just grown out of nowhere after murdering innocent babies. But now I'm going to use one of those purple Elmer's glue sticks that little kids use. I'm going to fucking stick them to your eyeballs so you don't have the fucking choice. Since their parents, who identified them in the horrific state at the goddamn morgue, will never have the choice to look away from the images in their mind of their babies like that for the rest of their fucking life.
There it is.
You asshole!
Yeah, I'd take them
those away.
From me.
I don't want to look at them. Do you think Ann West wanted to look at her fucking child being used pornographically by you two sick fucks?
You know what they should do? They should literally just hang them up every day in her cell.
They should take an Elmer's glue stick and stick them to her fucking eyeballs.
But she couldn't see them that way.
I don't care.
No, I want her to see them.
Fuck her.
I know. I want her to see
Burn
them.
her eyeballs with a fucking lighter.
No, let's not. Let's
God
so that
damn
we can
it.
so she could see them in her cell every day. That's
So,
better.
so he didn't say all that.
You're like, let's hurt her.
He didn't. Oh, I want to hurt her.
I do too.
I want to hurt her.
I just said I want to stab her with the football buttons.
I want to hurt her with everything I have. I truly do. So then, he didn't, like I said, he didn't say all that.
Yeah, no, he didn't.
No, but he was real annoyed with her. So he just kind of like stepped off, and then he looked at her, and without any context, he just started quoting a Bible passage. And he said, "Suffer little children to come into me, and forbid them not, for as such is the kingdom of God." And then he left.
Oh.
And she was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Because he was trying to like... Because she's making a total mockery of religion by pretending that she, like her fucking prayer book with that shit in it. And she's trying to pretend she's still very much, like she goes back and forth because on the stand she wouldn't swear on a Bible.
Interesting.
Which is fine if you're not religious because I probably wouldn't either.
But she says that she is.
Then she has a prayer book that she's like, what? I can't. So he was just using it as like a good like,
Can you refuse
fuck
to
off.
swear on a Bible?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm, you can,
Fun
and
fact.
you can use your own, like if you use the Quran or you use the, any other kind of like book of worship,
Holy book.
So when he did this with Ian, because he did the same thing with Ian,
Yeah,
he was totally unaffected by the pictures.
he just looked.
He was like, whatever.
That's not funny.
And
I
he
didn't mean to laugh.
And then he was just like, okay, yeah, we did intend to take that photo of John Kilbride's grave. Like we thought it was funny.
Yeah, because we're
like he just was like, yep, that's what we did. And then he was like, and you know what? I did kill Edward. Like I definitely did that, and I hit him like 14 times. And then he was like, I did take the photos of Lesley, but like I said, David and the other guy were the ones who took them. He stuck to it. Myra, so they're sitting and they're waiting for their trial. While this is happening, Myra sent a letter to her mom saying, "Can you send me some like better heels? Because hers were trampy looking."
Her heels?
Yeah, that's what's important.
Okay.
And then she had her lawyer ask the court to allow her to get her hair done and dyed. Because, and I quote, this is what they sent to the court. Her dark roots are becoming very obvious. This fact has been the subject of press comment, which is naturally a source of irritation to our client.
It's irritating to you that your roots are growing in prison because you're in prison because you murdered children.
You know what's irritating?
You.
Murdering children.
Also, how did they find a hairdresser that was down to do that girl's hair?
Well, it was denied.
Like, what? I'd be like, fuck you. No, oh my God, you know what? I would do her fucking hair and I would leave that bleach on and I would keep reapplying and being like, it's not lightening.
It's just got a process.
That bitch would have, I've given myself scalp abrasions because like I love to be super blonde. I would give her so many scalp abrasions that she would just be a scalp abrasion.
Well, I wish you were here for this.
Fuck, me too.
Because no one thought to do that.
Well,
but
that's
just
dumb.
The fact that they were like, it's really irritating her that the press is commenting on her dark roots.
Like she's got dark roots that are not just hair.
Her dark roots run deep. Yeah. Right from the womb.
Oh, shit.
So December 2nd, 1965.
Sorry, can you imagine being the lawyer? Like,
no.
I understand fighting for certain things.
Yeah.
You're going to fight for this bitch's hair?
Yeah, no, I'd be like, I quit.
I'd be like, no, we're not going to do that, Myra.
No.
Go ahead, sorry.
So Ian was charged with murder, and Myra was charged as an accessory after the fact. That does change later.
Okay.
But initially, that's what the charges were.
I was like, I don't like that.
Now, during the committal hearings in early December, and committal hearings are where they determine whether the case is going to be held in open court, basically. They were protected behind glass. And actually, a journalist took a photo of them that I had never seen before until I looked this photo up after reading this.
Ooh, we'll post
because
it.
you always see like the normal photos of them that everybody's seen, like that.
Yeah.
You know, the ones of them on the moors and the ones they took at the police station. But this was a weird, like, candid one. It was just weird.
Is it the two of them together?
They weren't allowed to take photos, and so they got in trouble for publishing this. But it's them standing in court together next to each other. And there's glass around them, and it's just strange to see them in, like, a public setting, I guess. I don't know what it is. It's, like, very weird. But we'll post it for sure. Now, and they put glass for their own protection.
Yeah.
During one of the hearings, and this just this, like, just my heart. So during one of the hearings, Ann West was on the stand, and she's answering things, and then all of a sudden she just stopped.
Good.
And she looked at Myra and she said, "I'll kill you. I'll kill you. An innocent baby. She can sit staring at me, and she took a little baby's life, the beast." And then she just kept calling her a tramp before dissolving into sobs on the stand.
I feel so bad.
Meanwhile, while this is happening, Ian and Myra are holding hands and comforting each other, and Myra whispered to him, "I'm not a tramp."
Oh my god. Oh my god.
You
oh
are
my
a tramp.
god.
You are the tramp.
I hate her so much. I'm not a tramp. I'm not a tramp.
Ian, I'm not a tramp. And then Ian was like, you're not a tramp.
Oh my, like that's what you're worried about right now?
You're both tramps.
You's a tramp.
You are both tramps.
You're worse than a tramp. I can't even think of what you are.
Fucking asshole.
I would have broken the fucking glass. And I would have killed her right then and there.
You can just imagine Ann West's, like, can you imagine
shaking.
being, like, I would
not be controllable.
Yeah. So Lesley's biological father, Terry.
Yeah.
Because remember, Alan is her stepfather.
Right.
Terry and her uncle Patrick, they attended these hearings as well, obviously.
Yeah.
And they wanted to kill these two, obviously.
Yes.
And they attacked a police car outside that they thought had Myra and Ian in it.
Oh, shit.
But what happened was, because the mobs outside of these things got so huge and dangerous, because people wanted to fucking kill them.
Yeah.
I wish they had just let them out.
I was going to say, they should have just let them.
Just led them out and let the crowd take care of it.
In certain cases like this, they, like, parents should be allowed to kill their children's murderers.
Oh, I believe.
Come at me.
I believe wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
That if you are, I mean, there's audio tape.
Yeah.
There's photos.
It's proven.
There's evidence.
Like,
if that happens, you should be, as a parent, you should all be allowed in a locked room with that person.
To destroy them.
Just do whatever you want.
To destroy them.
I would support that 100%. Well, they attacked this police car. Yeah. And what had happened was they had used decoys.
Damn it.
And Ian and Myra were still inside waiting for that to happen.
Damn
They were like tackled down by police, obviously.
Yeah.
And they were told, you can't do that.
I'd be like, I can do whatever the fuck I want for the rest of ever.
I'd be like, oh no, I'm definitely going to murder them, just so you know.
Thanks, though.
But so Terry said, I would have smashed their heads in if I was given the chance.
Same.
Now, December 8th, David Smith took the stand, and he got immunity for his cooperation with the case, so he could not be charged for this now.
I don't think he should have been charged.
I don't think so either. December 16th, there was bad weather, so Ian and Myra had to spend the night in cells under the courthouse instead of being transported back to the jail. So they asked... So in the morning,
to stay together, didn't they?
Well, they wanted to, but they were like, "You're fucking high if you think you're going to stay together."
Yeah.
And then one of the guards got called over by Myra, and she was like, "Can I have some makeup for the morning?"
What?
And he was like,
"What?"
He was like,
"No,
nah.
Here's a Crayola crayon, bitch. Do with it what you will."
Oh no, he didn't even give her that.
Not even.
You know what he gave her? He said, "No, but here's some hot tea," and he had poured salt in it.
Oh my god, that's awesome. I love that.
Which I was like, I want to shake your hands.
Yeah,
like,
enjoy, bitch.
That's so awesomely just like, boom.
Because she thinks that she's going to get, like,
here's
at
your
least
hot
some tea,
bitch. And then it has salt in it.
That's the piping hot tea, bitch.
End of March, Myra got to have her fucking hair bleached. They allowed it.
Who did they find to do it?
No idea.
Why did she not burn the shit out of her scalp?
No idea.
I would have hurt her.
So Tuesday, the 19th of April, 1966, that's when their trial began. Because it was during the committal hearing, obviously, they were like, yeah, we need to hold a trial.
I'm shook that she was allowed to get her hair done.
It bothered me. I was like, why?
That's insane.
Why was she allowed to bleach her hair?
What judge was like, you know what?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. So the trial judge, who was a different judge, is Judge Justice Fenton Atkinson. They were charged only with the murder of John Kilbride, Lesley Ann Downey, and Edward Evans because they did not admit to Pauline and Keith until 20 years later.
Well, had they found Pauline at that point? Did they even know about?
They didn't find Pauline for 20 more years.
Wow.
And Keith they have never found.
Right.
So at this point, Pauline's family had no idea that she was involved in this. So Maureen got on the stand during the trial. And Maureen testified. This is the thing. At first, you're like, yeah, Maureen. And then she just goes to shit.
What did she do?
Maureen testified against her sister at trial and said she said she's pretending she wasn't familiar with certain places, like the market where they got John Kilbride.
Yeah.
She had said on the stand, Myra, that she had never been to that market before. Her sister said, oh no, she was very familiar with that market.
Yeah.
Like, that's a lie. And she said they had also discussed Leslie's disappearance one day together because it was in the newspaper.
Right.
And Maureen had mentioned how her mother must be such a wreck. Mm-hmm. And she said Myra laughed. And she was like, and it bothered me ever since.
Yeah.
She also said Myra hated children and babies and was disgusted
like, she even hated
by
mine.
her own baby. And she was like, and that's just the way it is. Myra was pissed about this, sent a letter to their mother being like, can you believe her? Her mother was like a total enabler too.
I was going to say, I would be like, I'm not writing to you anymore.
I'd be like, you're real gross. Yeah. See you later. David and Maureen did admit on the stand that they were getting money from a newspaper deal about this case. Uh-huh. So that didn't help people thinking they were being shady because once money becomes involved, they're like, well, whose side are you on now?
Right.
But
because now you have a horse in the race.
Now you have a horse in the race. So while the John Kilbride case was being tried, because they went like, they did the Edward Evans, then John Kilbride, and then Lesley and
I'm glad that they all had separate trials.
Yeah. So while John Kilbride case was being tried, Ian and Myra were passing notes to each other and giggling with each other the entire time.
And why was that not stopped?
Not real sure. Ian took the stand and said the same thing about Lesley with David and the other, because this was after the John Kilbride one.
Yeah.
He said the same thing about Lesley with David Smith and the other man. He said, I didn't kill her. She left my house. That's what he said on the stand. But he fucked up.
What did he say?
Twice.
What did he say?
He said he put, and this is awful, he put a handkerchief in her mouth and a scarf to cover her face, like half her face. Mm-hmm. And then he said the words, just before the end. And the judge was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. The end of what?
End. Right.
And he was like, and it's not like Ian was like, oh, the end of the photo session or something. He literally was like,
her life.
And then he said, maybe when I was opening the tripod. And he was like, that's not the end of anything.
Right.
Like, why did you say the end? And he was like, I don't know. And then he was just allowed to keep going.
Okay.
So that was the first thing that they were like, oh, okay. And then he said the phrase, after completion, we all got dressed and went downstairs.
So,
and they were like, completion of what?
Like, you raped her is what you're saying?
And then he denied he even said that. And one jury member, because he denied it, then his attorney denied it. And one juror stood up and was like, nope, he said it.
I was here.
Like,
hi.
We were here. So he knew he fucked that up. So that there tells you right there that he was like, yeah, I fucked
You're
that up.
dumb.
Well, about Myra on the stand, when asking about her, he said, Myra's such a fucking idiot because this dude is such a dick. He said, quote, she was my typist in the office. I dictated to her in my office. This tended to wrap over, I guess.
What?
And it's like, what the fuck? Like he's acting like he's like, I'm gonna save you, and then on the stand he's like, I don't give a fuck.
He's like,
she just did what I asked. Like, whatever.
I just dictated that tramp.
So Myra took the stand next, and Myra showed no genuine remorse during this trial. She tried, but it did not come out right.
But she's a sociopath, so she can't.
In fact, she stuck her tongue out at someone at one point on the stand.
You're shitting me.
And Ian smiled many times at the judge. Like, the judge would look over at him in the box, and he'd just like give them a big cheesy smile.
Oh my god.
And then Myra on the stand, and she contradicts this about 100 different times. She said, quote, I made my own decisions. Ian never made me do anything I did not want to do.
Oh.
She literally says that.
So you fucked yourself by saying that, sister.
So then after she claimed, when they asked her about the Edward Evans murder, she claimed that she was in the kitchen when it all happened. She heard his screams and she threw her hands over her ears and was like horrified.
Oh, I'm so sorry that you had to go through that.
She first said that she was in the kitchen, and Ian agreed. Because Ian is the whole
trying
plan
to help her.
Here is that Ian knows he's fucked. Ian knows that he's going away forever. He's never getting out. He's fine.
Yeah.
But he said, I knew Myra could get out if we played our cards right.
And he wanted to do that
and
for her.
His whole thing wasn't even for her. He wanted her to tell the story. He wanted his story, his horror story, to be told. Like, he wanted to become the boogeyman.
So it literally had nothing to do with her at all.
No.
I love that.
And so he was trying to get her off. So he was making sure that he was agreeing with things like, yep, she was in the kitchen. Later he says, no, she was in the living room.
Right.
They discovered arterial blood spatter on her shoes. So
she was not in the kitchen.
It wasn't like any kind of other blood spatter, and you only get that when you're near an actual pumping artery that's flying out blood. And she tried to say that those shoes were just left in the room. But there was no blood inside the shoes. So feet were in the shoes when that happened. So like, good try, honey. But so she said she put her hands over her ears and couldn't listen to it. It was so horrifying. The attorney general said, "This court has heard more than one scream in the room where you were." And she said, "Yes." And then the attorney general said, "The screams of a little girl of 10, of your sex, madam. Did you put your hands over your ears when you heard the screams of Lesley and Downey?" And she said, "No."
Are you kidding?
Because they were like, "Oh, okay. So you're this delicate flower who put their hands over their ears because you heard this like 17-year-old screaming in the other room?"
But not when a 10-year-old
you were in
little
the
girl.
room while she was screaming and you were shoving a handkerchief in her mouth and telling her you were going to smack her. That makes sense to you?
And she was like, yeah.
She was like, "Yeah, you're right."
Cool. And then she's like, "No, I wasn't there."
And she immediately said she feels shame, all that. And they responded to her, "Your shame is a counterfeit shame, Miss Hindley."
Yes.
And then they left. I love that. Like, you're a fake ass bitch.
Literally. That's exactly what that translates into.
Literally.
Use a fake ass hoe.
So on May 6th, Ian was found guilty of all 3 murders. And Myra was guilty of the murders of Lesley Ann Downey and Edward Evans, and guilty of harboring Ian Brady, knowing that he had killed John Kilbride.
Okay.
So she wasn't...
Why?
Because they just couldn't connect her to actually murdering John Kilbride, but they could to the other 2. They were both sentenced to life in prison because 4 weeks before they were arrested, the death penalty in the UK was abolished. 4 weeks before.
Well, you know what, though? I'm glad that they had to live in their cells.
True. I know. But it's like, if any 2 people deserve to hang for their crimes, it's these 2.
100%.
It is absolutely these
and
2.
the families deserve to be able to have that.
Well, Myra was later described during the trial as, quote, "a quiet, controlled, and passive witness who lied remorselessly." That's how they described her. In 1994, Arthur Benfield, the retired police superintendent, said, quote, "She should have hanged. She was pure evil. It might be fairer for her to rot in prison."
Yeah.
So all these inspectors see her for what she is.
Right.
They're like, don't...
All these trained people.
Exactly. Like, don't even think about it. So Ian went to Durham prison and Myra went to Holloway prison. They went to separate prisons.
Yeah.
Seeing each other after they were sentenced was the last time they saw each other again.
Bye-bye.
Myra was immediately attacked in prison.
Was she?
Because they put her into like this like solitary at first because they knew that it was going to be bad.
Too bad.
When she was released into general population, 10 inmates invited her to a card game.
Oh my God.
And she was like, cool. And then they just beat the shit out of her.
Incredible. Because child murderers don't do well in prison.
LOL.
What happened to Ian?
Yeah. So she then asked for solitary and they were like, no. And they were also like, you're going to be in here for a long time. You can't be in solitary for that long.
Right.
But they did assign a guard to walk around with her. She couldn't go anywhere without a guard next to her because people tried to kill her. So she did lodge an appeal saying that it fucked up her chances of a fair trial to be tried next to Ian.
Uh-huh.
So she's already turning to be like, he's fucked up. And
but you chose to be with him for your life, so you probably should have thought about that.
Well, they were also like, no, honey, you were exactly who you were during trial.
Right.
Like, Ian didn't, in fact, you told us on the stand that he never made you do anything. And they also said, and Ian actually tried his damnedest to make sure that you weren't implicated in anything. So fuck right off with that.
Question mark, question mark,
Thank you for trying. Come again.
But don't.
Well, she also got a special privilege, which pisses me off and it pisses everybody off.
To what?
She got her gran. Her gran was able to visit her because she was dying.
Oh, gran.
But honestly, I think she should have had to miss out on seeing her gran ever again.
Yeah.
You shouldn't. No one gives a shit.
Maybe people just felt like gran wanted to see her, so that's why they did it.
I'd be like, no, it's not good for you to see her when you're dying.
I know. Like,
absolutely not.
Gran, look at what she did in your house.
Yeah, it's no. So Ian spent 19 years in prison where he was beaten by inmates and had to be put in solitary for the remainder and escorted by a guard as well. Then he was eventually, after the 19 years, transferred to Ashworth High Security Psychiatric Hospital. This was in 1985 and he stayed there until he died.
Why did he get moved to a psychiatric hospital?
Because he had lots of psychiatric problems.
Oh. That'll do it.
Yeah. For the first 3 years that they talked through letters, because they corresponded weekly.
I thought that wasn't allowed.
No, it totally was. They did break up a couple of times through prison.
I'm like, what?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you're broken up because you can't be
Yeah.
together. Like, that's stupid.
Well, they also petitioned to get married because married prisoners, one, get to see each other, and they had petitioned earlier, even before they were sentenced to prison, because if you're married to each other, you are not forced to go on the stand and testify against your spouse.
Uh-huh.
So that was denied, though.
Yeah, bye.
They're like, no.
This is not a holy union.
Now, I'm going to end this part with this really crazy thing that they did. They used to write secret codes in their letters because they never do anything, normal. So they had something called a 678 code.
Okay.
And if one of them underlined the date on the letter, it meant that there was a secret code in this letter.
How did they even figure out what that meant between the two of them?
I have no idea. So the secret text would start on the 6th line. That's the 6th. The 7th and 8th words would be the first 2 words of the message.
Okay.
Then the 7th and 8th words on each remaining line would be the rest of the message.
You have to give it to them. Like, they were smart.
Yeah, they really were. I mean, I'm sure Ian came up with this one, but way later, when they broke up, for good, and they started really going at each other, which we're going to talk about in part 4, because it's a lot of fun.
I can't wait.
They started really coming at each other. Ian was like, well, I'm just going to reveal all the things in the secret codes in the secret letters that we wrote, because she's a fucked up individual, and I can make sure that you don't give her parole because she wrote me some fucked up shit. And she freaked out when she heard this and tried to do damage control ahead of time because she knew what was in the letters.
What did she try to do? How is she going to get rid of that?
So she said, just so you know, if he ever releases this, he did like to have me sometimes write him things that would arouse him sexually. And it was usually stuff about hurting kids. So she used to write fondly and in sexually explicit ways about harming children. And now she's like, he just wanted me to do that. Please don't think that it's me who's doing that. And it's like, oh, bitch, you just showed all your cards.
Right.
Because also when she did that, Ian was like, bitch, I wasn't going to reveal it.
Right.
He just did it because he knew. She's going to out herself. It's fine.
Wow.
He's manipulating her from
behind
psychiatric hospital. So I'm just going to read you one letter that they wrote to each other that has a secret code in it, and the secret code was written by Myra.
Okay.
So this is what the letter says. I'll tell you the letter, and then I'm going to read you the code.
Okay.
I've been thinking for a while, why don't you ask if you can go to the church on Sundays so we can at least see each other there? You get someone to help with this. See the governor if necessary. There are places in the chapel for people in your situation, Ian. So ask someone to look into it for you. Now, this is when they were being held in jails, and they were in the same jail, before the trial.
Okay.
There's someone here who goes with 2 officers. She's in here for killing her own children and also for attempting to throw acid in her boyfriend's face.
Jesus Christ.
No one likes her. She's on Rule 43, of course. Your mention of facial expressions in your last letter. I could have seen the one on Brett. His face was a picture when you stared him out. So now I'm going to read you the code.
Yeah.
Why don't you get someone to throw acid on Brett? Brett was Lesley's 4-year-old brother.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yep. She was requesting that he had one of his criminal people out on the outside throw acid on Lesley Ann Downey's 4-year-old brother.
I gotta go. Are we done?
And that's the end of part 3.
Fuck.
And part 4 is going to be the discovery of Pauline Reed's grave, which was a long time coming. We're going to talk more about Ann West. We're going to talk more about David Smith. We'll talk about Ian and Myra's correspondence and how it became so sour later.
I can't wait to hear them turn on each other because...
Oh, yeah. We're going to talk about their health failures and how they both died because it's...
Did their livers just fall out of their assholes?
No, so much. It's chef's kiss, especially Ian's, because he wasn't allowed to die, and it's my favorite thing ever. He wanted to die so badly, and they wouldn't let him. It's amazing.
That's actually incredible.
It's great. So trust me, there's some good stuff coming after that.
I'm excited to see the picture of them in the glass, and we'll post that on Instagram.
We'll definitely post that. But I know this one was It was tough.
Ooh, yeah, it was.
But we're through the toughest, everybody.
Now we're at the part where we can all like skip along to the beat together.
Now we're going to be at like the bonus information that I just feel like it's information that's important to this case because it's a really unique case and it's a unique relationship they had.
It's wild.
It's a unique situation all around. So I think it's important to talk about that and her bids for parole.
Yeah.
How it was stopped by the families, how the families banded together. It's all going to come in part 4.
Wow.
And part 4 will be on Wednesday, I promise.
By the end of the day on Wednesday.
End of the day on Wednesday. So hopefully
EOD.
Everybody can take a deep breath.
And go ahead and follow us on Instagram.
At Morbid Podcast.
Hit us up on Twitter.
At A Morbid Podcast.
Send us a Gmail.
morbidpodcast@gmail.com.
And make sure to buy our new merch at shop.morbidpodcast.com.
Yippee!
We hope you keep listening.
And we hope you
keep
it
weird. But not so weird that you're just Myra and Hindley, because I gotta go. Myra, Hindley, and Ian Brady.